This whole idea that my industry is different, it's a trap. It makes you miss where AI delivers its real power. See, it's not at the industry level. So, if you're a leader trying to wrap your head around I bet you've been told the same old thing. Look at your industry, see what your competitors are doing. But what if that's, well, completely the wrong way to think about it? Today, we're going to reframe that entire conversation. You're moving away from these high-level industry labels and getting down to the actual work your teams do every single day. Let me just ask you something straight up. Do you ever get that feeling that your business, whether it's in healthcare, professional services, or some complex manufacturing, is just different, too unique, maybe too nuanced for AI to really make a dent? It's a really common thought. And hey, if you feel that way, you are definitely not alone. But here's the thing, and it's a critical insight. Focusing on your industry label, it makes you miss where AI delivers its real power. See, it's not at the industry level, it's at the task level. It's all about the specific, repeatable activities that happen in pretty much every single business. So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll bust that different industry myth and shift our focus over to activities. Then, we'll ground all this with a real-world case study. And from that, we'll pull out 3 universal work patterns that you can find just about anywhere. We'll touch on the real barriers to getting this done, and we'll wrap up with a clear starting point for you. All right, let's dive in and tackle the biggest myth head on. This whole idea that my industry is different, it's a trap. The key is to stop seeing your business as this single monolithic label and start seeing it for what it is, a collection of core activities. This slide really shows the shift perfectly. Over on the left, you've got the wrong lens, seeing business as all these separate industry silos. But look at the right lens on the right. It tells the true story. Every single business is just a set of interlocking gears. Things like analyzing data, managing communication, forecasting, these are the universal gears that make every industry run. And guess what? AI is built to make those gears run better. Now, to make this really concrete, let's look at a case study from the market research world. We're pulling data from the Green Book Research Industry Trends Report, also known as the GRIT report. Now, this is a field that really feels different. It's supposed to be all about human nuance, right? Well, let's see what the data has to say about that. Okay, this quote from the report is a total mic drop moment. Think about this. 25% more work with 25% less staff. That is not just a little tweak. That is a massive transformational impact. And this is exactly what happens when you apply AI, not to the abstract idea of market research, but to the specific work that's actually involved. So what does that work actually look like? Well, here's the data. And we're not talking about some futuristic concept here. We're talking about the real grunt work. Over half of firms are automating the analysis of survey and text data. Nearly half are automating their charting and infographics. These are tangible, data-heavy tasks that are being streamlined as we speak. And here's the why. The top benefits. They're not just some technical novelties. They are core business drivers. 2/3 of them are delivering projects faster. Almost 60% are gaining a competitive edge and lowering their costs. This is the clear, undeniable ROI you get when you focus on activities. Okay, so that market research example is pretty powerful, right? But now let's zoom out. We can actually distill what's happening there into 3 universal work patterns that you can find in almost any business on the entire planet. This is how you find your own AI opportunities. So, the first pattern is information processing. This is the classic big data problem, right? It's about taking these huge amounts of information, especially messy, unstructured text like emails, reports, or customer reviews, and actually making sense of it all. You can think of it as finding the signal in all the noise. Back in our case study, this was all about the automated analysis of those open-ended survey comments. The technology that makes this magic happen is natural language processing, or NLP. It's what allows an AI to read and understand human language, but at a scale and speed that no human could ever match. So take a second and think about your own operations. Where's this pattern hiding in plain sight? Are your legal teams buried under contracts? Is your product team trying to make sense of thousands of customer reviews? Are you trying to pull key themes from a mountain of internal documents? That right there is your opportunity. Okay, our second universal pattern is all about communication workflows. This is about how information moves around, both inside and outside your company. It covers basically everything from customer support chats and internal project updates, all the way to generating standardized reports and documents. We saw this in the Grit report with the automated charting and report writing. But this exact same pattern shows up literally everywhere. For a software company, it might be an AI handling basic customer support tickets. For a consulting firm, it could be an AI drafting the first version of that weekly project status update for a client. The activity is the same, even if the industry is different. So again, ask yourself, what communication in your business is just repetitive? Think about the scripts your team uses for customer onboarding, or the process for escalating help desk tickets, or even the format for those weekly sales reports. These are all workflows just begging for some AI augmentation. And finally, our third pattern, decision support under uncertainty. Now this one is so crucial. It's not about replacing leaders with algorithms. Not at all. It's about augmenting their judgment. It's about using data to light up the path forward, to forecast trends, and to recommend the best course of action when the future looks a little foggy. I mean, the entire point of market research is to support better business decisions, and the Grit report confirmed this. Success was measured by whether a project led to better recommendations and better insights. AI just supercharges this whole process. It finds the subtle patterns in the data that we humans might miss, helping leaders connect those insights directly to a winning strategy. So where are your highest stakes decisions being made under uncertainty? Are you trying to decide which new market to enter? Are you prioritizing features for your next product launch? Are you trying to figure out how to allocate your annual budget? These are precisely the areas where AI-driven decision support can have a huge impact. You know, identifying these patterns is the first big step. But the real challenge isn't just finding the opportunity, it's the implementation. And what's surprising here is that the real barriers, they're rarely about the technology itself. And this is the crucial point. The challenge is human, not technical. It's all about organizational friction. It's conflicting priorities between departments. It's company cultures that just resist change. It's a lack of clear support from the top, and it's failing to train your people. These are the hurdles you actually need to plan for, not which algorithm to use. We've covered a lot of ground here, from busting that industry myth to identifying universal patterns and the real-world barriers. So now, let's bring it all together into a clear, actionable path forward for you and your team. Here is your starting framework, and we're keeping it intentionally simple. First, for this exercise, just ignore your industry label. Forget it even exists. Second, map the core activities your business actually performs, how you process information, how you communicate, and how you make decisions. And third, target the activities within those patterns that are the most repetitive and the most data intensive. That's your starting point. That is your sweet spot. So I'll leave you with this one final question to take back to your team. Forget about doing AI for a second. Instead, ask this. What is the single most valuable activity in our business that if we could make it faster or smarter or more efficient with AI would unlock a true competitive advantage. Find that, and you've found your beginning.